first business ended with me filing a police report on my business partner and best friend of 8 years. And if you think that that taught me everything I would ever need to know about business, you would be wrong as fuck. Now, here's the thing about business content on YouTube. It is mostly bullshit, and that's because anyone who has a story worth telling or has any advice that's worth listening to is too busy actually doing the thing to ever give you that advice or tell you what's happening as it's happening. But for some reason, I decided that building 2 businesses while working a full-time job was not enough, and I needed to be that person who is going to tell everyone what it's actually like as I'm doing it. If you don't know me, my name is Haley. I'm a certified personal trainer since 2021, but because I can't do daily vlogs or have a team of people following me around, this is the best way that I could think to do it. And honestly, it's giving docuseries, and I'm not mad about it. This is going to be literally everything from start to finish. I am taking you through the entire journey. That means the mistakes, the horrible failures, the lessons that I've learned, and you are going to learn a lot about the stubborn ass version of me that for some reason just refuses to give up. But to understand where I'm going, we first have to understand where I've been. So my first business was born in 2018 when a fitness Instagram was considered a business, and that was kind of all you really needed. Like, people were making it just off that. And I really thought that I could change the world with absolutely zero business vision and just some good Instagram captions. Now, my first business ended in such a traumatizing and horrific way that it could honestly be a docuseries in itself. So this will unfortunately not be me spilling any tea, but I do have to talk about it in order to let you in on what this journey has been like. So we're going to talk about all the things that went well, everything that didn't go well, which is the majority of it, and ultimately everything that led me to starting my real, true love of my life, aka Duality. Now, I'm actually not sure if I'm allowed to say my old business name on here because I might still have to go to court for that situation, so I don't want to get myself in any hot water, so we are not going to name my old business, even though, I mean, if you know, you know. That business was born because my friend, we're gonna call her Sarah for purposes of this story, my friend Sarah and I both became personal trainers at the same time around 2017, 2018, I think. And we were obviously super into fitness, and we had this dream of making fitness accessible to everyone. Now, something that was really weird in common between the two of us was that we both grew up around people who had disabilities. My mom has spina bifida, she was born with it, and her brother was born with fetal alcohol syndrome. So both of us really just had a deeper understanding of what it was like to really be around people who weren't as able-bodied as you are. So because of this, we both had this idea of just making fitness for all. So we said, hey, we should start a business together, even though we didn't really know what that would mean. We didn't have any kind of business idea. We didn't really have any basis at all. It was more like, hey, let's start a joint Instagram page and just see what happens. And again, this was 2018, so fitness Instagrams were honestly all the rage, I'm not gonna lie. So we started toying with the idea of PDF programs because, again, this was just like what was happening during that time. But the problem was that if I made a PDF, I wanted it to be literally the best PDF in the entire world. I wanted it to have so much detail. I wanted it to be way more than just workouts. I wanted it to include absolutely everything that someone would need if they were to start a fitness journey. And spoiler alert, making a PDF that I was satisfied with took me almost 3 years. And ask me how many we sold, 3. Now, when COVID hit, we were smacked with an idea that it made sense. It made so much sense that we were like, if we don't jump on this, we're actually idiots. And this was resistance bands. Because we had so many clients that we had each been training individually over the last few years, we were like, oh, this is a perfect way to get them to be able to stay active at home, to get them to be able to still do some of our workouts on their own. And it just made sense. So we got on Alibaba, we found a manufacturer, and we hopped on this pretty quick. And honestly, I say pretty quickly, but it really was about 4 to 6 months, which in my defense is pretty quick in the manufacturing world. Now, I think that we did the launch sort of okay. We did do a really good job of building up hype around it. We were really sharing the product before it came out. We were sharing us using it and just kind of like really building up the hype around it, you know? But like any first business, most of those first purchases came from family, friends, and clients, and that was about it. Actually, there was one singular person that neither of us knew that bought a resistance band, and to this day I still have no idea where that person came from, if they found us from social media, if they found us from like a friend of a friend. I have no idea, but that was a big day for us. Now, looking back, I do wish that during that hype building phase that we had made some sort of email list or something like that, but I will get into some more of the big mistakes a little bit later. But that is one that just like, it just hits me because it was so obvious and it was right there. All in all, the bands did not last more than the COVID era, and honestly, I still have stock that I am trying to get rid of because I don't want to just throw them away, like that feels like a waste, but also like, please get them out of my house. Now, at this point, it is around 2021, and remember, TikTok enters the villa at this point. So we were pretty consistent on there, I will give us that, but we didn't really have any kind of a strategy. Like, our strategy for posting was pretty much just because there were two of us, it was like, which one of us has a video ready to go today, and that was it. That was the entire strategy. Now, the consistency, she did pay off because we did get up to around 10K within, I want to say 2 years, honestly, and looking back, I am pretty proud of that, but I don't think we were the best at actually connecting with that 10K audience, if that makes sense, if you know what I mean. So when I had finally finished that PDF guide that I had been working on for 3 years, we said, cool, let's take it to our TikTok audience, let's offer it to them for free and just see if we can get some people to try it out. And I think we had about 30 people reach out, which could have been game-changing, could have been literally something that propelled us into success if we had done it correctly. And I'm sure you can guess, we obviously did not do it correctly. So what we should have done is kept up with them the entire time that they're using the guide, done some check-ins, maybe at least once a week check-ins, because honestly, like, any less than that and people would completely forget who we are. We should have been on top of them a little bit more, asking how they like it, asking for feedback, asking to see what their progress is like, asking how we can help, like really walking them through that journey. Super one-on-one, and we obviously did not do that. I had an idea to do it and I was like, oh my god, yes, let's do it. We should really like divide and conquer. We can each take 15 girls and like really keep up with them, and it just didn't happen. So because of that, we never got any real testimonial from those PDF guides. We got a few, oh my god, this workout was so good, or wow, it looks great, there's so much in here. That was about it. And let me tell you, those statements do not sell. Now, because this is the time that our TikTok was really kind of starting to blow up, I remember sitting there and being like, oh my god, like this is it, this is our moment, this is when it's actually gonna happen. Like, it is only up from here. Like, I can't believe it. Like, this really feels like we're doing something. And we had started doing brand deals. We were making money from ads. We were working with Lemonade at the time. And I was like, oh my god, like this is actually something that's going to turn into our career. Our last business venture was t-shirts and hoodies. And because we didn't want some basic, like, let's just slap our logo on a t-shirt and call it a day, we really tried to make clothes that had some kind of an uplifting positive quote on them and things that like actually evoked emotion when you would wear them and when you would see someone wearing them. I stand 10 toes down on those merch designs that I made because like I loved them so much, and one day I'm gonna bring that shit back because you better believe I got the rights to that shit. Now, even though what we made wasn't merch in the typical sense that like it was a super famous influencer who just like slapped their name on something or like slapped a famous quote on it, I still think that we just didn't have the following to launch any kind of clothing line, because I really feel like for clothing lines specifically, there's so much and you can get lost in the noise so easily that you have to have a real, genuine connection with your audience in order to launch something like that. So even though I think we didn't have the audience for a clothing line, the thing that I truly deep down thought that we did have the audience for was a fitness app. And in all of those 5 years of having our business together, an app was the thing that I wanted more than anything. I had tried so many different platforms. I had literally taken all of this upon myself and was just like trying out all of these things, trying to build something in all of these different, mostly white label platforms. Some of them are fitness app builders, but none of them had as much customization as I wanted, and none of them really gave me the freedom, and I also just didn't feel like it was truly aligned with what I wanted. But I was trying super hard because I was like, this is our business, this is where I see it going. And it's no surprise that I could never get Sarah to fully commit on going all in on an app. She just did not, she didn't see the vision the way that I did. I think we had very different end goals in mind with what we wanted our business to turn into. And I must admit that our business was kind of on a slow burn before it crashed in the end. And so it was probably around November 2023 that I started looking at different platforms to build my own individual app on, because I realized what I really wanted to do was just take that PDF that I had created and take all of those programs that I had made and just put it all into an app with all the mindset resources, all of the actual actionable steps that can help you achieve whatever goal you want. I wanted a way to do that in something that's actually going to get used and keep people accountable and keep people on their journey, because a PDF is not going to do that. You know what I mean? Now, December 2023 is when it all finally imploded. It was completely done. I had just filed a police report. We were completely blocked on everything. Like, there's no contact. It was done. So as you can imagine, I was hurt, I was angry, and I let my ego make a really bad decision during this time. I decided I'm gonna launch an app right fucking now. Like, that's gonna show her. Now you're probably like, okay, Haley, you learned all of these terrible things with your first business, so that means that when you were doing your second business, you did it all right, right? Wrong. Obviously, you're wrong. If we were to take the 3 biggest takeaways that I learned from my first business, number 1 would be to build hype around something before launching it and really get people bought into it, really get their feedback, really take them on this journey with you and get their contact info. Number 2 would be to check in with customers as it goes, especially your first few customers. Really walk them through the journey. They should never be left guessing on anything that they're doing, especially when it's a new product. And number 3, create an audience that is so obsessed with your story and so bought in on everything that you do and your passion and your journey and just everything that they will buy anything that you put out, because they are a part of your community and they want to be part of that community at every single chance that they get. Now, a logical person, again, would assume that me knowing those 3 huge things that I think are ginormous pillars of any business, me knowing that would mean that I put any of those into practice. Again, still wrong as fuck. So February 2024, I hard launched an app with absolutely no buildup, no sneak peeks, and absolutely 0 journey sharing. Because honestly, I don't think I was even ready to publicly admit that my first business was officially done. So when I hard launched, I did get some signups, but again, it's mostly from family and friends. And if there is anything that I have learned from this process, it's that nobody gives a fuck about your second business. Your first business, people are like, oh my god, wow, she's so cool and awesome, girl boss, yeah, she's really doing it, oh my god, slay, I love that for her. And your second business, people are like, oh wow, this bitch is doing it again, that's crazy, like, good for her. Which means you have to be even more on your game for the second business that you launch, and again, I was not. The first few signups from family and friends were nice, of course, but family and friends aren't going to tell you that your product fucking sucks. And trust me when I say that mine sucked. It took me 6 months to realize that when people say, oh my god, it's so cool that you built an app, like, wow, I'm so proud of you, what they really mean is, this is completely unusable, but like, that's really cool that you did it. And while I love the kindness is not what I needed to actually build an app that's going to change people's lives. Now, all of that brings us to the end of Duality version 1. But obviously, this is not the end of the story, because we haven't even dipped our toe into version 2 yet, and that's when I make, in my opinion, some of the most ridiculous mistakes that I've ever made in business. And honestly, like, while I'm grateful that I learned during that, what the fuck? So trust me when I tell you that I am teaching you all of this so that you don't make the same mistakes, and so hopefully you can cut your success time in half. Over the next few episodes, you are going to see me make every single mistake possible. If you haven't already guessed that, you're going to see me rebuild this app from the ground up, and you're going to see me start a new business eventually, because I just don't know when to quit, apparently. Now, a lot of this footage was filmed months ago. A lot of what you are going to see in the future is filmed in the current moment, in this current time. And because this is unlike any other docuseries you've ever seen, this one doesn't have an ending in mind. There is absolutely no telling how this is actually going to end, especially once we get caught up to real-time episodes. So I really hope that you are ready to ride this out with me and hear all of the insane things that I have learned, and to hear it all without the bullshit, toxic hustle culture language, because that is just not how we get anything done. And I hope that this inspires you to take a chance on whatever business idea might be brewing in your brain, no matter how insane it is. Because if there's one thing that I've learned in business, it's that you can't chase other people's idea of success. You can only define it for yourself. And with that being said, if you would like to keep up on my journey as I'm actually doing it, you can find me on all social media at Healing with Hale and my app page at duality.app on all platforms. That is all that I have for you, so I will see you in the next episode of Defining Success.